a star, I think someone said. John Major, you're a star, just as he was about to speak.
Thank you very much for being here. Thank you, above all, for all you've done in the last few weeks and the last few months. I know how hard so many of you have worked. I know how much you have sacrificed, given up, hoped, dreamed for a different result and a different outcome tonight. It hasn't proved that way. I don't think there was much that we left undone that we could have done. There are some times in politics when the ball just rolls in the opposite direction and there isn't a great deal that you can do about it. I don't think it is in our best interests to spend our time in the immediate future doing anything other than preparing for what lies ahead, not just in the short term, but in the medium term. Politics is a rough old trade. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. But when you don't, you just step back, ask yourself why you didn't, and put yourself in a position to make sure that next time...
Yes.
Next time. Tory telecom reforms.
that next time you get it right, and you do win. I've been in the Conservative Party for as long as I can remember. I guess many of the people in this room joined the Conservative Party as soon as they could as well. And we joined it for the same reasons. We didn't join it just for the nights when you win, just for the easy victories from time to time. We didn't join it for the office. We didn't join it for the spoils. We joined it because we care about what it stands for, and we care about what it can do for this country. Now, we have been in being as a party for longer than any other democratic party in Western Europe. We've won more elections. We've lost a few on the route. But we've won more elections and we have perhaps served in government longer, more often, and better in the interests of our country than any other democratic. And we will do so again. Tonight we have suffered a very bad defeat. Let us not pretend to ourselves it was anything other than what it was. Unless we accept it for what it was and look at it, we will be less able to put it right. We've lost some very good servants of the party, people who've devoted a huge amount of their life to the service of this country and the service of this party. We've lost, temporarily I hope, some colleagues, both senior and not so senior, who still have a lot of service to give this country and this party and who will, I hope, be back where they should be, in the House of Commons, serving us all. And they lost, from what I saw of it, with a dignity that made me as proud of this party as I have been of We now have a job to do, all of us.
It's those reforms again, John, it's those reforms again.
They tell me the technological age is a good thing. Forgive me if from time to time I just have a small leave to doubt whether that is absolutely entirely true. We'll have to regroup. We'll have to sit back. I hope everybody will go away, have a rest. You've earned it. Not for too long. And then we'll begin to work again. There's a job to do in opposition. To be in opposition in Parliament is a pretty honourable way of life. To make sure that the government of the day is kept under close scrutiny. We'll deal fairly. If they do what we think is right for our country, we'll support them. If they do what we think is wrong for our country, then we'll oppose them as vigorously as we can with every member we have and every party worker we have up and down the country. So I know tonight is not a light night for cheers and champagne for us. It's a night perhaps to look back, I hope with some pride, at the changes that we have made to our country in the last 18 years. I first entered Parliament 18 years ago tomorrow, I think. And the difference in our country is a difference you could not express unless you remembered what it was like in May of 1979 when the Conservatives first came to government. Many people who voted in this general election perhaps never knew that, for they have never known anything in their adult lives but Conservative government, and others perhaps have not remembered precisely what it was like. Well, I said a moment ago that this party had served longer in government than any other. We've suffered great defeats before. We have always come back. We have always come back. And we have always come back because there is something in the Conservative philosophy and the Conservative instinct that runs absolutely with the grain of the British instinct. We must make sure we rediscover that, not just in the interests of our party, but in the interests of our country. So there is a great deal of work to do. I would just say three final things. Firstly, perhaps I can reiterate to this group here all these faces I've come to know so well, in some cases over many years, in some cases more recently. If you will forgive me repeating something I said a little earlier, and you may possibly have seen, I think perhaps here of all places is a good place to pay tribute to some of the people who have done so much to help over recent years. The party chairman, not here now, but on his way here, and I hope shortly here. Those of our colleagues whom we have lost, and on a more personal basis, though I have temporarily mislaid her, Norma. So, right, okay, we lost. So we...
Go on, John.
So go away for the weekend, relax, fire yourself up again, and then come back. Because when you come back, at the beginning of next week, we've got a job, and we better start doing it then. Thank you very much.
So, John Major talking there almost as if to his family in Baldwin-esque mood, talking intimately, sadly about what happened. Worth remembering that this Prime Minister now only for a few more hours, has served as Prime Minister longer than Lloyd George, longer than Attlee, almost as long as Baldwin, almost as long as Macmillan. Characteristically, he said, sometimes the ball just rolls in the opposite direction. Politics, he told all these workers here, is a rough old trade, and they know it. You have to ask why we lost. There's Michael Portillo, who will definitely be asking that question assiduously. And next time he says, we've got to get it right. It was a very bad defeat.